Our code extensions, the deployable Python packages that we built to run custom logic inside Data 360, run perfectly in our local environment. We did that in the previous chapter. But we actually need them in our Salesforce org. So let's deploy them next. So how does deployment work? The SDK first installs your requirements.txt packages inside a container whose OS architecture matches the remote Linux runtime in Data 360. Second, it packs the resulting virtual environment with compiled .so files into a portable archive. And third, it uploads that archive alongside your code to your Salesforce org. This means when you run the code extension, your code will be executed in an isolated Data 360 compute environment, exactly how it ran on your laptop, something that we demonstrated in the second video of this series. To deploy the code extensions, we will use the SDK through the Salesforce CLI commands with the help of Claude. Let's first remember what we plan to deploy. A code extension is a complete package. For both our script and function, we have the core Python file with the logic, the config.json file, which contains details like the inputs and outputs, and the requirements file for external libraries. In order to deploy code extensions, you need to activate the feature. We do so in Data Cloud Setup, Feature Manager, Code Extension. Let's deploy our code. In our terminal, we'll prompt Claude to deploy the data cleaning script to my default Salesforce org using the 2XL CPU size. The CPU is the CPU of the Linux container that runs your code extension in the Data 360 runtime, and it's important for billing calculations. The first thing that Claude does is to check that Docker is running, because Docker is what is used to package the dependencies with the code. Although at the moment of recording, direct versioning through the package version attribute is not supported, this is something on the roadmap. And after 10 minutes, we can see our script deployment worked. Bear in mind, when deploying through the CLI, a batch transform that's associated with the code extension is also created. Finally, let's ask Claude to deploy the chunking function in the same way. After some time, the function deployment also worked, and we can see in the UI both our code extensions are there ready to be used. Note we are soon moving code extension to the setup menu, so depending on the time you watch this video, it may be in setup already. Now, when deploying code extensions, you might encounter a few common errors. Tooling and environment issues usually present as missing CLI commands, unfound SDK packages, Python version mismatches, or an unreachable Docker daemon. Configuration hurdles typically involve missing org-aliases or absent config.json files. Finally, execution failures frequently stem from pointing the deployment to the wrong package directory, lacking write permissions, or referencing unfound DLOs. Deploy command error output will tell you what happened, and the code extension skill together with a coding agent can help you solve this fast. Alternatively, you can deploy code extensions through the UI. You click on New, you give it a name and a description, you upload the code extension code file, and then you select the configuration parameters that define the type of extension that you want to create. We went from local code to deployed assets in minutes, skipping manual uploads. In Chapter 4, we will trigger our deployed code against real data, and we will take a look at the execution logs and learn from them. Which use cases would you like code extensions to solve in the future? Drop them in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you can watch the next video and be notified. Like this video if you found it helpful, and find all the video resources in the description. Thanks for watching.